Ukraine has revealed that it requires a substantial $172 million daily to sustain its defense efforts amidst the ongoing conflict. This staggering figure underscores the immense financial burden the war places on the nation and highlights its deep reliance on international financial assistance and military aid to maintain its resistance against the invading forces. The continuous inflow of funds is critical for everything from procuring essential military equipment and ammunition to providing humanitarian support for its population and rebuilding damaged infrastructure. Without this significant daily investment, Ukraine's capacity to defend its territory and protect its citizens would be severely compromised, making international solidarity and sustained support paramount for the country's survival and its ability to continue fighting for its sovereignty. The war has transformed Ukraine into one of the largest recipients of foreign aid in recent history, as global partners recognize the broader geopolitical implications of the conflict and the importance of preventing further aggression in Europe. The economic strain is felt across all sectors of Ukrainian society. The government faces the immense challenge of maintaining essential services, paying its military personnel, and supporting its displaced population, while a significant portion of its industrial and agricultural capacity is either destroyed, occupied, or operating under extreme duress. The daily financial requirement is not merely for direct military expenditure, but also encompasses a wide array of necessities, including medical supplies for wounded soldiers and civilians, emergency housing for those whose homes have been destroyed, and the restoration of critical infrastructure like power grids and transportation networks that are frequently targeted by attacks. This comprehensive need illustrates the multifaceted nature of modern warfare, where financial resilience is as crucial as military prowess. The continued commitment of international donors, including the United States and European Union members, remains a cornerstone of Ukraine's defense strategy, enabling the nation to withstand the relentless pressure from its adversary. The call for such substantial daily funding is a stark reminder to the international community of the enduring and escalating costs of the conflict and the imperative to provide consistent and robust support. On the battlefield, the Dnipropetrovsk region has recently been the scene of one of the most devastating strikes of the war, marking a significant tactical development. Russian forces launched an unstoppable offensive that reportedly crushed Ukrainian defenses in Novonikolayevka, securing another breakthrough in this critically important region. This advance represents a shift in the dynamics of the front line, with Moscow's forces leveraging a coordinated approach involving advanced missile systems, sustained artillery fire, and sophisticated drone reconnaissance to achieve their objectives. The successful penetration of Ukrainian lines in Novonikolayevka could potentially open new avenues for further Russian incursion, threatening key logistical routes and strategic positions within the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Ukrainian military analysts are likely assessing the implications of this breakthrough, considering how to reinforce vulnerable sectors and prevent further territorial losses. The intensity and effectiveness of the Russian assault underscored the ongoing challenges faced by Ukrainian defenders, who are often outmatched in terms of firepower and aerial surveillance capabilities. The ability of Russian forces to combine various military assets to achieve such decisive results point to an evolving tactical proficiency on their part. The strategic importance of Dnipropetrovsk lies in its geographic location and industrial capacity. Losing ground in this region could have cascading effects on Ukraine's ability to maintain its defensive posture in southern and eastern sector. The report use of missile systems indicates Russia's willingness to employ long-range precision strikes to soften defense before ground assault, while constant artillery barrage aim to suppress Ukrainian resistance and inflict maximum casualties. Drone reconnaissance provides real-time intelligence, allowing Russian commanders to adapt their strategies and identify weaknesses in Ukrainian fortifications. This integrated approach has proven particularly effective in Novonikolayevka, While Ukrainian forces were reportedly overwhelmed. The impact of this breakthrough extended beyond immediate territorial gains. It also serves as a morale boost for Russian troops and a significant challenge for Ukrainian command, which was now content with a potentially destabilized front. The international community is closely watching this development, as any major shift in the front line could influence the trajectory of the war and future peace negotiations. The sustained nature of the conflict means that such intense engagement are becoming more common, each one testing the resolve and resources of both sides. Adding to the intensity of the conflict, Russia has launched a devastating strike on a vital oil depot in Nizhyn, located in Ukraine's Chernihiv Region. The attack, carried out with precise Buran-2 drone strikes, resulted in a massive conflagration, with thick black smoke billowing into the sky as emergency responders struggle valiantly to contain the blaze. Oil depots are critical infrastructure targets in modern warfare, as their destruction can severely impact a nation's logistical capabilities, including the fueling of military vehicles, transportation networks, and civilian service. The loss of such a significant facility not only deprived Ukraine of essential fuel reserves, but also creates a major environmental hazards due to the uncontrolled burning of petroleum products. Emergency service face immense challenges in bringing the fire under control, contending with the scale of the inferno and the potential for a secondary explosion. That strikes aim to disrupt Ukraine's supply chains and create economic pressure, making it harder for the country to sustain its military operations and civilian life. The targeting of energy infrastructure is a recurring tactic employed by Russian forces designed to weaken Ukraine's overall resilience. The use of Buran-2 drones, which are often described as loitering munitions, highlight Russia's resilience on cost-effective yet impactful aerial assets to execute precision strikes against high-value targets. These drones can be difficult to detect and intercept, allowing them to penetrate air defenses and deliver their payload with considerable accuracy. The attack on the Nizhyn oil depot illustrates the ongoing vulnerability of Ukraine's energy infrastructure to these persistent aerial threats. The resulting fire not only caused significant material damage, but also created a spectacle of destruction visible for miles around, serving as a stark reminder of the war's destructive power. The environmental impact of such a large-scale fire, including air pollution and potential contamination of soil and water, is also a serious concern for the affected region. Ukrainian authorities and international aid organizations are likely to be involved in assessing the damage and providing assistance to mitigate the long-term consequences. The repeated targeting of energy facilities underscores the strategic intent of Russia to undermine Ukraine's ability to function as a unified and self-sufficient state, creating ongoing challenges for its government and population. In a significant diplomatic and rhetorical escalation, Moscow has formally stated that NATO is the de facto at war with Russia. This declaration represents a critical shift in how Russia perceives the involvement of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. While NATO has consistently maintained that it is not a direct party to the war, providing extensive military, financial, and humanitarian aid to Ukraine has led Moscow to conclude that the alliance action amount to an indirect yet active participation in hostilities. This statement carries serious implications for international relations, suggesting that Russia views NATO's support for Ukraine as a direct challenge to its own security and strategic interests. The accusation aims to frame the conflict as a broader confrontation between Russia and the Western military alliance, rather than solely a war between Russia and Ukraine. This narrative could be used to justify further escalations or to rally domestic support for Russia's military action, portraying them as a defensive measure against an aggressive Western bloc. The concept of de facto war implies that even without direct military engagement, NATO's comprehensive assistance to Ukraine has blurred the line between support and belligerence in Russia's eyes. This assistance includes providing advanced weaponry, intelligence sharing, and extensive training for Ukrainian forces, all of which significantly enhance Ukraine's capacity to resist the Russian invasion. From Moscow's perspective, these actions directly contribute to the prolongation and intensification of the conflict, making NATO an integral albeit undeclared participant. The Russian Foreign Ministry and other official channels have consistently voiced their objection to NATO expansion and its perceived encroachment on Russia's traditional spheres of influence. This latest pronouncement further solidified Russia's position that it is facing a broader coalition, not just Ukraine. The international community, particularly NATO member states, will likely continue to reject this characterization, emphasizing their commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty while avoiding direct military intervention that could trigger a wider conflict. However, Moscow's official stance means that any future actions by NATO, even non-combat related, will likely be interpreted through this lens of active engagement in a proxy war. Echoing the heightened tensions, the Polish foreign minister has publicly stated that the West is too scared to fight. This candid assessment from a prominent European diplomat reflects a growing frustration among some Eastern European nations regarding the perceived hesitation and lack of decisive action from certain Western allies in confronting Russia more directly. The statement suggests that despite the significant support provided to Ukraine, there remains a reluctance within the broader Western alliance to take actions that could be interpreted as directly engaging Russia militarily, even in response to what are viewed as clear acts of aggression. This sentiment is particularly prevalent in countries that share a border with Russia or Ukraine, which feel more acutely the direct threat posed by the ongoing conflict. The Polish foreign minister's remark underscored a divide within the Western alliance between those who advocate for a more robust and confrontational stance against Russia and those who prioritize de-escalation and avoiding a direct military confrontation between NATO and Russia. Such statements reflect deep-seated anxiety about the long-term security of Europe and the efficacy of current deterrent strategies. The implication of being too scared to fight is that the West's action, while substantial, are ultimately limited by a fear of escalation, which Russia may perceive as a weakness. This perspective argues that a more assertive posture, potentially including greater direct involvement or the provision of even more advanced offensive weaponry, might be necessary to deter further Russian aggression and bring the conflict to a swifter conclusion. For countries like Poland, which have historical experience with Russian influence and aggression, the current level of Western response may not seem sufficient to guarantee their own security in the long run. The statement highlights a strategic debate within NATO and the broader transatlantic alliance about the optimal balance between supporting Ukraine and preventing a wider war. While many Western leaders emphasize the importance of avoiding a direct conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia, some allies argue that this cautious approach could inadvertently embolden Moscow. The Polish foreign minister remarks serve as a critical commentary on the perceived effectiveness of Western deterrence and the ongoing challenges of forging a unified and resolute response to an assertive and unpredictable Russia. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentation and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.